Hey everyone, this is Saito, and in this video I will teach you everything to get you started with Camellya. She has been just released in Wuthering Waves and she's already incredibly powerful, so in this video we'll teach you simply everything about it. That said, let's get to the video, but before that, please consider to subscribe because we are almost at 100 subs and it would be amazing to get them before 2025. Okay, thank you for the support and let's get right into it. Okay, so Camellya's gameplay is actually pretty straightforward, even though at first it looks very difficult. It took me a bit to understand what she does, but in the end she's very easy to play. So first of all, this is just an explosion. She will do this once she has a full amount of concerto energy. As you can see, this time instead of just using an outro skill and changing characters, you can just decide to use this. So she sacrifices her concerto energy in order to deal more damage and stay more on the field instead of just changing characters. Now another thing is that, as you can see, we have a huge amount of Forte, and before that it was a different color. So first of all, if you use the skill, as you can see, we went back into that color and she just changes her form. As you can see, this looks so much different, and she's also spinning a lot, and because we have a full amount of concerto, we can do this again. So every time we hit the opponents, we will lose it, and of course this will just increase our amount of damage. Now when we are in this form, we can't do much. As you can see, we can't even move around. The only way to move is by just dashing, so it's a bit annoying, but in general, if you just want to get the fuck away from this mode, you can just use the skill and we're back here. And honestly, there is not even much more to that. You just use the skill to enter this different mode, and I guess there are some few other gimmicks. For example, if you use the skill and then jump, she will do a little kick, and that's pretty much about it. Another good way of her to deal a lot of damage if you hold her third basic attack. Now once she starts spinning, if you hold the attack, she will spin for much longer. See? She spins more, she deals more damage. And this can also happen when you are in this other mode. As you can see, she deals even more damage. Wait, let me... Okay, so if I go here, 1, 2, 3, if you hold it, she deals a huge amount of damage, but she also consumes all of her good stuff, you know, all of the attack buffs. The Resonance Liberation doesn't do much, it's just a very straightforward amount of damage. It actually doesn't change anything, it's just a huge amount of damage, and that's it. So these mods can be a bit confusing at first because, you know, now this is not the normal Camellya. When she has this red hair, she will get this different moveset. She goes around, and if you use the skill, she goes back to the normal Camellya. And the normal Camellya does have something less because, as you can see, her gameplay is a bit less powerful, so you should always aim at getting this mode so that you can gain some concerto energy, and once you gain the concerto energy, you will enter this state, which will increase your attacks by a lot. But something else that you have to remember is that when you are in this mode, you will regain energy much faster compared to the other mode. Like if we go use the skill, this one, when you're in this mode, she will gain much less energy. Like you can barely see the energy, like it's much less. It's still getting some of this, but it's much less compared to the normal mode. So in this case, it's again up to you to decide what to do, because you can choose between dealing more damage and just staying in this mode, or you can go back to this mode and just access the Resonance Liberation. And also, all of these things are only basic attacks. Honestly, there are so much more things if you just go see her profile, but to be honest, it's just a huge amount of words. It's honestly, you don't even need to know all of this, like it happens before you even know this. And because my brain is the same as a monkey, I don't want to think too much about this stuff. Just go hog wild with this fucking mode. It's very powerful. She's a very powerful character. Just go swing around, deal a lot of damage, then change modes. I think you can play as much as you want, to be honest. Like, you don't have to be very limited. And also, another thing is that you will gain some of this Forte when you use an intro skill. Now, we can't do this here, of course, because this is the training, but when you do the intro skill, she will gain the Forte. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. You just have to choose between using your concerto to change characters, maybe keep the rotation, go back to a Shorekeeper, keep the buffs, or instead you want to have much more fun, deal more damage, and also because, as you can see, we already are at half of our concerto energy, and now we just are back again at full concerto, so it's not even really a choice, you can just choose both. Okay, so for the weapons, we don't even have to say this, the best weapon that she can have is the red string, aka her signature weapon. It immediately has a 24.3% crit rate as the main stat, which is very nice, and it also increases your attack by 12%. Also, every time you deal damage with a basic attack, you will gain a 10% basic attack damage for 14 seconds that can stack up to 3 times. And also, once you consume your concerto energy, you will gain another 40% basic attack damage bonus. So this simply says plus 12% attack, plus 24.3% crit rate, and lastly a plus 70% basic attack damage. She's a character that of course resolves around using basic attacks, so of course getting just a 70% bonus is just madness. But if you did decide to pull for the Emerald of Genesis, then it's also a very nice choice. The main stat is also 24.3%, and it also increases your energy regen by 12.8%. And also, once you do the resonance skill, you will increase your attack by 6%, and this can be applied up to 2 times. Now, this isn't nearly as powerful as the red spring, because, you know, no 70% basic attack damage bonus is very bad, and the red spring gives you a 12% attack damage even without using the skill, so there is a huge difference between them, but it's still a very powerful weapon. Otherwise, you can use Changli's weapon, which is the Blazing Brilliance, if you did pull for it, which also increases your attack by 12%, and also, when you use your skill, you will get 5 stacks, or when you deal damage in general, you will gain 1 stack. You can gain up to 14 stacks, and every stack will increase your skill damage by 4%. All of this will be applied for 12 seconds. So this time you get 48.6% crit damage as the main stat, a plus 12% attack damage bonus, and also a 56% skill damage bonus. So as you can see, it's also a very powerful choice. But if you want to be free to play, there is a very powerful option, which is the Somme Noir Anchor, and every time you deal damage, you will gain 1 stack. Each stack will increase your attack by 2% for only 3 seconds, and this can be applied up to 10 times. And also, once you have 10 stacks, you will also increase your crit rate by 6%. Now this looks very weird that you can only do it for 3 seconds each, but it's a very powerful choice for Camellya because she's a character that deals damage constantly. So as long as you're playing her on the field, you will never have to deal with a cooldown. Also, if you play this event, it's guaranteed that you will gain all the refinement levels, and at rank 5 this weapon will increase your attack not by 2% but by 4%, and the crit rate bonus will be 12% instead of 6%. It simply doubles the buffs. So yes, it's a very powerful weapon, and it's also free. Now for the echoes, the main echo should always be the Crownless. It's very simple why: it increases her havoc damage by a lot, and also this is very nice. If you jump at the moment you use the Crownless skill, you will remove the animation, but you will still get the buffs, which is very nice. But otherwise you can try using the Dreamless. It is just a lot of raw damage, which is nice, but it's better if you get some buffs out of this, so I think the Crownless is a bit better than that. But the best set is of course the Sun Sinking Eclipse. I mean, she's an Havoc main DPS, she gains a lot of buffs out of this, and it's very easy for her to get the 5 pieces buff, so after using 4 basic attacks you will gain a whopping 40% Havoc damage bonus. But if you don't have it, then you could try using Lingering Tunes, because she's a character that stays on the field for a long period of time, which makes it very easy for you to get the attack buff if you stay on the field for more than 6 seconds, so you will gain a 12% attack buff, but it's much better to me if you use this Sinking Eclipse. Lastly, this is pretty bad, you will try 2 pieces Sun Sinking and 2 pieces Lingering Tunes. It's just a few buffs, but it's much better if you use just 5 pieces Havoc damage bonus. For the cost pattern, always go for 3311. The 4 cost should have a crit rate or crit damage, but to be honest, getting the crit rate is much better. The 3 cost of course the Havoc damage bonus, and the 1 cost attack buff. And for the substats, crit over basic attack damage bonus over attack. Because she uses a huge amount of basic attacks, it's much better if the substat is basic attack damage bonus instead of just a normal attack buff. Now for the Forte Priority, you should always go first of all with the skill. That is because the huge damage that you always see is the one made by the skill, not the normal attacks. So this will only increase the damage of a white-haired Camellya, and this is the good stuff, the damage from the red-haired Camellya. And right after that you should always go for the Forte Circuit, because it's also a huge amount of damage that is given by the ephemeral form. Like, these are the main 2 things that you will always see, and that's what you should always focus on. But right after that there is the ultimate, which is just raw damage, but as you can see the scaling is also very high. So yeah, in the end you should just upgrade these 3. The priority is skill, after Forte, after ultimate, because the normal attacks don't do almost anything. The intro skill doesn't do absolutely anything. What's good about the intro skill is that Camellya will gain 100 points of Forte when you do this, but this always applies, like you don't have to have it at level 10 to do it. This is just a mediocre amount of damage and that's it. So only upgrade these 3 if you have the resources and nothing else. As for the bonus abilities, this is very powerful powerful. It increases the Havoc damage bonus by 15%, and now your heavy attack will also be considered a basic attack, so maybe your signature weapon or Sanwa will also increase its damage. And this one is also even stronger, you gain a 15% basic damage bonus, and now you also gain resistance to interruptions when you do your basic attacks. So overall it's very solid, she's very powerful, and you only need these three things to upgrade, and these are also very nice, like it's attack buff, this is crit damage buff, and the outro skill is just raw damage, and that's pretty much about it. Like you can increase its damage when you use the ephemeral stuff, but that's it. Okay, so now for the teams, she does have a lot of options, but of course the best choice that she could ever have is Sanwa, and that's because of the outro skill. See, they get a 38% basic attack damage bonus after her outro skill. This is incredibly powerful because she only resolves around basic attacks. And also 14 seconds are a lot of time, like you do have a lot of time to do your whole rotation in 14 seconds, so it's very nice. And for the last spot, always go for a Shorekeeper because it's the Shorekeeper. But otherwise, if you don't have her, then you can get Baizhe. And maybe if you don't have Sanwa built, because I don't see any other reason for not play her with Camellya, then I guess you can try with Mortopi or Danjin. Danjin is especially very powerful because of the Havoc damage bonus that she gives with her outro skill. When you do your outro skill, she will increase the Havoc damage bonus of your next character. However, you will need her to stay on the field for quite some time if you want her to actually do a lot of stuff in the rotation, and she's also a pretty fragile character, so to me, I do think it's much better if you just play her with Sanwa. Maybe I guess you can try Yang Yang, because Yang Yang is good in any single team, like she's very generic, so that's also a pretty good thing. And I guess you can also play her with Xieji, because she doesn't take a lot of time to make her setup, and she's also very powerful as a sub DPS. So that's very simple, just play this and you will be very nice. But yeah, the Shorekeeper is very powerful. Like when I made her guide, I already knew that she was going to be like game breaking. Like these days you will always need the Shorekeeper in any single team. But of course the second best healer is gonna be Baizhe. She's still very powerful, her outro skill is also very nice, especially the feather that she releases with her skill, it's also very powerful. So yeah, this would also be a very nice free-to-play team, and you only have to pay for Camellya because the rest is like free. Now for the Wavebands, there are so many of them that are very powerful. Like the first one, which is already crazy. First of all, once she enters the field, she will get a 28% crit damage bonus for 18 seconds, which is very nice, and also you're completely immune to interruptions while doing ephemeral. And like this is very nice because you will not have to waste all of your time just dodging around and cancelling her attacks. You can just play with way more comfort, you can just play more easily, and you also gain a huge amount of crit damage. So if you want to have more fun with her without having to always like dodge around, you can just get this Waveband and just play her more casually. Now the second one is alright, I guess, like it's not particularly powerful. It's a huge amount of damage, like it does increase the damage multiplier, which is very nice, but that's it. Like there is nothing much to say about it. It's pretty good though, it's very solid, but this time is crazy. This one is completely crazy. First of all, you get a 50% damage boost of the multiplier for her liberation, which is nice, but also when you are in wooding mode, you will increase your attack by 58%. And like this is actually so fucking strong. Like this is very powerful. A 58% attack buff is crazy. But this one is also very nice. Like all of these are pretty good. It increases the damage of all of your party members' basic attacks after using Ever Blooming. And yes, this also means herself. So it's not only your teammates, she also gains from this. Now this one is by far the weakest one. The fifth one is very bad. You simply increase a bit of damage from your intro skill and your outro skill, and yeah, as you can see, the multiplier 68% is not even great. So it's pretty bad, to be honest, it's very bad. But the last one is insane. To put it shortly, you get like a new form, which is like an improved version of your skill, and it's very powerful. Like the bonus damage is very strong. It works in a pretty similar way, but it works much better, and also you're completely immune to interruptions again while using this skill, so you don't even lose the first constellation, of course. So personally, you should get the first one and maybe the second one, but the first one is very nice, and if you want to be a whale, this one is very powerful. Okay, so should you pull for Camellya? First of all, she can fucking fly. Are you saying this? What the fuck? I didn't even know she could do this. Like, it's seriously, it's fucking crazy. Yeah, you should 100% pull for her because she's just incredibly powerful. And she's also just gorgeous. Like, are you saying this? Like, this is insane how good she is. She looks beautiful, she has two faces, she can deal a lot of damage. Also, like, her aesthetic, are you watching this? Look at her eyes. It's so good. Also, her animations are so nice. Just look at this one. She also has so many free-to-play options if you want a cool team or a cool weapon, and you also have like 45 days to save for the next character, which is very nice. So to me, you should 100% pull for her because she's definitely worth it. I was pretty much skeptical the first time I saw her the leaks. I thought she was gonna be very like boring to play, very repetitive. She kind of is, but in a pretty cool way. Like, she's very nice. This one is such a cool move. It's very nice to see. Like the range, all of these cool animations, like look at this one. It's so nice. I really like her. I honestly really like her. And that's it for the video. If you enjoyed it, remember to like and subscribe because I really, yeah, road to 100 subs. And that's it for the video. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!